mic checked to the chat. Can you hear me now? I hope you enjoyed the theater of the ears, as Wiley so adeptly put it. But thank you for joining us. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Cranio Dad. We are taking a very interesting spin on Ghosts of Saltmarsh, where we are running through the campaign as intended, as a 5th edition piece. And I am slowly baking in and rolling out a homebrew that I designed a few years back that goes around Tiamat coming back again. But that will remain to be unfolded as our story continues. With that being said, let's go ahead and go through and do introductions. Calder.
I am playing Calder. I am the Nerdy Viking, aka Adam. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch as the Nerdy Viking. Calder had a very close call. Almost took a seat at the table in Valhalla, but due to some very good party rolls, he just barely made it back alive. So we're looking forward to seeing what it entails for him next.
Circe.
Hey everybody, my name is Wiley Hobbit, and I'm playing Circe Bronzemist, a bronze dragonborn paladin of Lathander, who has spent the last 2 episodes almost dying to bad things. So thanks to some good rolls and my friend Oddity, I pulled out. So let's see what happens tonight.
Deluge.
Hey everybody, Shannon, Channellogic across all the internet, and I play Deluge Marshhand, the Bard Warlock. Can't seem to get Calder to die because of the power. She's trying, you guys.
She is trying. Oddity.
Hi, I'm Kayla, also known as Miss Misery, and I'm playing Oddity Price, the Misfortune Teller, also known as a sorcerer.
And last, but by far from least, Rogelio.
Hello, I'm Chancellor 87, Eric. I'm Rogelio, the human statue.
This is true.
Old man human statue.
And again, I'm Cranio Dad, Dungeon Master, and I will be playing absolutely positively everyone else, with the exception of the followers that our players do have that may come into play probably in the next session or two. We shall see. But want to let our chat know that you have a way to influence this game by using Dissonant Whispers. Players, at this point in time, you have 12 Dissonant Whispers. Dissonant Whispers are a mechanic that I like to use that gives the players pre-roll advantage, or they can invoke pre-roll disadvantage on me, on the DM, at the expense of a Dissonant Whisper. These are obtained for the players by you, the viewers. 500 bits, sub, gifted sub. Those will get you a Dissonant Whisper for the players. So you have an impact on this game and on the outcome of what is going on. All that being said, when last we saw our adventurers, they had all bedded down for not a really good sleep in the middle of the swamp after rescuing the Queen Ocontent from the clutches of a spirit naga. It was very restless sleep. Every person who is in a statue woke up from horrible dreams that just messed with them. And they found some strange afflictions that seemed to mimic that of Circe because of dreams of Tiamat. Our players had run into Tiamat on some strange plane through some warped time when they were lost in the swamp trying to get home, with the exception of Rogelio, who had made it back to camp by way of disassociation. But you have awoken. The day is new. Ocontent tells you you're about a half day's travel away from their lair. She looks much more regal, much more invoked, as it may be, for her wares. To recap for the folks at home, as well as for myself, the DM, Miss Misery is, or sorry, wow, just did that. Oddity is being affected by some weird things that are causing parts of her skin to look like green dragon scales. Circe has had a black dragon scale finger on a bronze dragonborn, which has been interesting, and that's slowly starting to creep up his hands. Calder woke up being affected with some portions of his body looking like a blue dragon scale, and Deluge woke up with some white dragon scale on the palm of her left hand. Oakentent is sitting by the fire. She found the statue of Rogelio. To recap as well, Rogelio was found with all of his wares and everything on it in the shape of a statue while holding the gem the size of his head. And he's about this big, about the size of a D&D mini. And Oakentent is kind of looking around it and holding it as you guys are awaking, and you can smell that fish is being cooked. There's a smell of swamp kelp, mushrooms, maybe some pork fat has been included as well. But you guys are breaking down tents, and one of you looks over and sees this, and you guys all kind of notice at the same time. So with that, let's dive on in.
Be careful. That's our old man. We don't want to break him. He might come back. So
We'll use this, and it looks oddly lifelike.
it was. It kind of had a pulse, a very weak pulse, but it broke its hip a lot, and we miss him to pieces.
The statue broke its hip?
It used to be a person. We don't quite know what happened, but at least, like, 2/5 of our party turn into statues from time to time.
Oh,
It's becoming an issue.
is it a thing? Is this what you guys are now going to be known for, like the statue people?
I hope not. I thought we'd be known for, like, our devilish good looks and charm, as I've always been known. But it's turning into an issue, and I don't want it to become, like, our thing. So, do you think you could help us? Do you know how to... I mean, you saved Calder's life, so can you... I mean, not that he's dead.
Let me roll. Not that he's dead. She looks at it for a little bit, and she goes, well, it's odd that this jewel is here, and the rest of him is stone. If he was holding something, I mean, if you look, you could see his little tiny rapiers and his little tiny boots and his little tiny hands, and everything is fine. And is that a wedding band on his finger? All of that is stone, but this jewel just doesn't seem to make sense. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Did you guys run into trouble with jewels or dragons?
No, not really.
Well, that's the only thing I could possibly think of.
Can I see the statue for a second?
She hands it to you.
I'm gonna just flick the gem out of his hand.
Okay, give me a strength check.
All right, this is gonna hurt.
For him, you're Rogelio.
Hopefully.
That's
well,
gonna be a 17.
So, you mightily flick the gem, and it flies out many, many feet away into the swamp. In fact, you hear a little plink, and being Deluge, you're so focused on the gem, you like watch it, and you have a pretty good idea of where it landed, but you hear that plink, and your heart just sinks, and you're like, oh, a blue gem stuck in swamp water early in the morning. This is gonna be a bitch to find. You don't even happen to notice that you are now holding a full-size Rogelio in your hand. Rogelio, how much do you weigh?
I think, man, human person weight.
So probably about $170, $180.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, Deluge, what's your strength?
It was a 17.
No, what's your strength? What's your
Oh. It's a 10.
Yeah, you are, for instance, it's almost like Looney Tunes. Like Rogelio appears, and all of a sudden you're like looking at him, he's looking at you, and you just go, oh no. And for a split second you're holding him, and you just fall to the ground, and he's on top of you. You take 1 point of damage from Rogelio landing on top of you. Rogelio, you are instantly flooded with a momentary memory. You recall kind of like stubbing your toe, but not like hurtfully, just on this, you thought it was a rock, and you looked down and you saw this blue gem, and you got angry with it because there's so much shit that was just going on, and you went to go pick it up and throw it away, and the moment you picked it up, that's the last thing you remember And now here you are in the middle of the swamp in the morning, falling on top of Deluge, who is holding you.
What the hell? Where? I don't even want to know.
You have not? I mean, just get off of me. Just get the fuck off of me.
I take it we looking over and seeing the queen of the
All
lizard.
you see is a very regally dressed lizard folk, presumably woman by her dress, sitting by the fire. That's all you see. That's all you know.
This is Her Majesty Oakentent. We saved her. We're great. Everyone almost died.
Oh. Well, that's normal.
Yeah, except I saved the day. Sort of. Calder kind of really died, I think. Calder, were you like really dead?
I think so.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how dead would you say you were?
I think an 11.
Oh yeah, he was pretty dead. But Her Majesty, the great and powerful Oakentent, saved him because she is kind and benevolent.
Thank you. Yeah.
And her eyes, as wide as a reptile's eyes could be, like both sets of eyelids being opened. She's looking. She goes, "My, that statue is magnificent. It looks just like you."
Yeah, it was a custom piece.
What's everybody else doing?
Yeah, we should. But
Circe is off praying his morning devotionals to Lathander.
Roll your perception check. Or, I'm sorry, religion. Percentile die. My bad. Percentile die.
Alrighty. I have those. 70.
Okay, good to know.
Okay. And I think he'll include a little extra gratitude this morning for part Oddity played in bringing him back, keeping him here, whatever that all was.
All right.
Maybe asking a little extra blessing from the Morning Lord for her.
Calder, what are you up to this morning?
I guess he's kind of just like still laying about, just still recovering from being on a scale of 1 to 10, 11 dead. So he's probably just kind of taking it easy, getting it up, stretching some of that stiffness out of his limbs, and kind of hiding that there's blue dragon scales on his chest, hiding that. And so, basically, it's going to start getting breakfast, get some food.
All right. Oddity?
So you said that she got licked on the face, so she's got scales on her face down onto her neck?
She does. Green scales running down her
Oddity
face
has, like,
onto her neck.
Merida level hair, so she's got big Merida hair, so she's kind of got like all swept to one side, and she's got a scarf on and just trying to keep like her hair all right here, just trying to keep it covered, and really just trying not to be obvious that there's scales on her face, and then just trying to pretend to be normal.
All right.
Hey guys, I have a question. Did anybody else wake up feeling unusual?
You mean from slightly dying and actually being dead?
Oh my god, get over it. You're fine.
I am now. So.
I meant more like strange dreams.
My dreams are always strange.
That checks out. No? Nobody? Coincidentally, and like I'll just have my like right hand like sort of in my pocket the whole time. Does anyone have a pair of gloves I could borrow?
Maybe Rahelia does.
I probably do. Yeah.
I would
Let me
very much like at least the right glove. My hand is being weird.
Did
Oh,
you
let me see.
hurt it or something?
I don't know.
From
My
the
mom
flicking?
always said something that like, oh, you do too much self-love will make your palms turn weird and hairy.
All right, I'm gonna find those gloves real quick.
Oh, you're able to produce a pair of lambskin gloves.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Jesus.
Oh, and Oddity, here's the wand back for unrelated reasons.
I'm sure it'll serve you better than me.
You sure?
Yeah,
I cleaned it. It's fine.
that's quite all right.
Well, actually, because you slept overnight with it, with the moon out, you are now attuned to the wand of bees.
I love this game.
I'll come wandering back into camp, unaware of the tone of the conversation. Good morning, everyone. I trust you all slept well.
Like a rock.
Rogelio, you're back. Good to see you, friend. How?
Yeah.
What happened there?
I apparently touched that stone, that gem, and turned me to stone.
What gem would that be?
I don't. I think Deluge flicked it out of my hands, and it's in the swamp somewhere now.
I see.
She's lost to the land now.
Probably better for that then. Yes. Well, I'm glad you're back either way.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Glad
Yeah,
to see
well.
you're all doing all right-ish.
We're doing something. That's for sure. Is that pork fat and greens I smell?
It is.
Where might I avail myself some of that wonderful breakfast?
And Queen Oakenton kind of sticks out a long green finger and says, "In the pot."
Your Excellency, thank you so much. And I'll help myself to some breakfast and kind of sit on a log and just watch and see what's happening.
Now, for clarity, Rogelio, your stats are exactly as they were at the end of 2 sessions ago.
Okay. 2 sessions ago. I don't remember what that was.
It's where your character sheet is now. So you have not gotten any rest.
I have 6 hit points.
You have 6 hit points.
Nice.
You were still level
Ready to
5.
go.
Feeling great, guys.
Yeah. All right. Some time passes. You guys all eat. You're able to break down camp and clean up the area fairly well. And Queen Oakentent looks kind of up at the trees. She goes, "Okay, we need to go that way. We got about a half a day to get there. Pretty much a straight shot."
Of course, Your Majesty. And I will help her up onto the car.
All right. So you guys are traveling. Who is driving the cart?
I mean, I can do it.
I don't have animal handling or cart handling, driving.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else does.
With a 6 person, at least 1, if not 2 people are going to have to walk.
I will walk. That is fine.
Yeah, I'll walk as
But
well.
I'd like to
Cuddle
pull Rogelio aside. My friend, you don't look well to me.
I'm not feeling.
Perhaps the light of Lathander might shine upon you this morning. I can help. Would that be?
That would be. I would appreciate that.
Very well. I will lay on hands 20 hit points
Okay.
for my friend Rogelio.
Feels great. Oh, feeling a lot better now.
Very well. Good.
Thank you. I'm gonna ride in the car.
All right. Is anybody providing Overwatch?
I guess I'll keep an eye out as I'm walking.
Okay.
Back there with Circe.
Okay. Anyone else?
I mean, I'm driving, so I don't know if I can drive and help.
Yeah,
you.
no.
I'll keep an eye out.
All right, give me an animal handling check for the first couple hours of the trip.
Sure thing.
You want to roll high?
Yeah, it's fine. 19.
With the skill of somebody who has handled many steeds, you're able to send this cart along trails that only you are able to find with a horse. It's amazing. And even the queen herself is somewhat impressed. I need perception checks from all those looking out, or one perception check at advantage.
Calder and I can look together. And Calder, what's your bonus for perception? Mine's only a +1.
Mine's a +4.
All right, so I'll assist Calder.
Okay.
Alright. And that's going to be a dirty 20.
As far as you can tell, everything appears to be safe. For the first few hours, near the end of the second hour, the rustling that you heard while on watch, you kind of hear it off in the distance again. Something may be following you, but you don't see it, even with a dirty 20.
So, seriously, I think we have an uninvited guest probably trailing us. So,
Very well.
just be mindful and so. But let's make it look like we don't realize that they might be following us, but we know that they might be following us.
Okay. I won't visually acknowledge what he says.
All right.
Very well. Very well. And I'll just move away from him and kind of be like, looking around. Yeah.
All right. The horse needs a break. And so you pull up and give it some rest. I'll say with that animal handling check that you had, you're also able to maybe de-stone a couple of the hooves while the horse is, eating some oats or some barley or something. I need another perception check from all those who choose to make it, with the exception of Deluge, who is engaged with the horse at this point.
Perception check.
Be a 16 for Calder.
Okay.
25 for Natalie.
Okay. You said 25?
17.
All right.
14 for Circes.
All right, Circes, you hear the sound. Calder and Rahelia, you can kind of pinpoint the sound. However, as you're just kind of glancing through the area, you hear the sound, Oddity, and you see a bright flash of orange and white about 60 feet away from you.
Sure.
And you kind of pierce your eyes a little bit, and you look, and you hold your hand up a little bit to block the sun. And you swear you see a giant snake head, and it's coming for you.
Can I cast Hold Person?
You can certainly try.
You think you're funny when you say it that way, but
Natural 20. Oh wait, no, that's you have to do a wisdom save.
Wisdom save?
Sorry.
I guess a
Is that
15.
whisper?
With a dissonant whisper? That's a good idea, because that was a 19. 19 and a natural 20.
okay.
Hey, you used up one of my natural 20s. It's good to go.
Burn the rolls. Yep, exactly. Burn them now.
You hold your hand out, and you feel like you're starting to grip it, and it lets go. Now, you have about 70 feet, and it's going to be on top of you. What do you do?
I'm gonna scream, incoming point. There's a snake, something, there's snakes. Yeah!
I hate
Come on, snakes aren't that scary.
Everybody
I'll,
roll
immediately
initiative.
Run around the cart.
I broke a fire.
Oof, that's not open.
There we go. Get some theme music going. All right, 25 to 20. All right. 15 to 20.
16.
16. 10 to 15. Okay. 5 to 10.
8.
8.
We all got 8. That's
Wow. Okay. All right, so all three of you can go at the same time and just choose who goes first, second, and third. Each round doesn't matter to me. So, as it is being pointed out to you, and you ready yourselves, and you start to take up positions from within the swamp, you see a sight that to most of you is just scary as fuck anyway. But it's a giant snake. However, specifically to Deluge, this snake is way the fuck out of place because it's a coral snake. And you know that's real bad.
Oh no.
The snake uses both of his actions
Oh no.
to close in upon you. I'm going to see if I can bring up a battle map just for fun.
So it's moving 60 feet.
It is moving, yeah, it's within 10 feet of all of you.
That's cool.
Sweet.
And that's its turn.
That is its turn.
That's cool. That is excellent.
What just happened there? All right, getting this set up, guys. I didn't think you'd get this encounter, but that's what I rolled on the random encounter table, so that's what we are playing.
Hence, random.
We're going to use... we're going to use the camel token for this one. Unless I can find a better one. 1 second. I gotta be able to find a better one. Oh, look at that. It's actually part of the game. All right, and let me drag you guys over here, then bring up the map for our viewers at home. All right. It is now Rogelio's turn.
Fuck it. Helio is not a fan of snakes.
Oh, it is a snake.
He draws both his blades and let's see. He tries to close in around behind it,
Okay.
swing at it. No. That was a solid roll. I have a 15.
15 hits.
Nice. So 15. That's 7. I'm gonna sneak. Sneak attack. So a total of 18 on the first hit.
Noted.
And with his offhand, he swings again. That is a 15 again.
That's a hit again.
for a grand total of 2 damage.
Nasty 2 damage.
Yep.
All right. Cirrus.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt, hopefully, I'm gonna just rear back, take a huge breath, and blast him with my bronze dragon breath weapon.
All right.
So he's got to make a DC 13 Dex save, and I'm gonna burn a dissonant whisper to ensure your failure.
Or try to ensure my failure.
No, I'm going to.
13, you say? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the first roll is a 14, not including modifier. And the second roll is a 19.
Okay. So he takes half of 7 damage.
Half of 7. All right.
Yeah, I rolled poopy. So 3. So I kind of went 9-volt battered him.
Yeah. Well, this huge burst of flame came out and just it melted up some of the Spanish moss that was hanging in the swamp, and there's now the smell of like burnt moss and dirt and swamp air. Maybe you caught a gas pocket off to the side and it just funneled all the energy and exploded a swamp rat.
Create a setting for
Yeah.
battle in the swamp.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna is it my right hand that I'm having this issue with?
Yeah.
As a bonus action, I'm gonna raise it and try to shoot stuff at it and see if anything happens.
Roll me a percentile die. This could get interesting really quick.
Because we had a situation where it went off once.
Yep.
So I may be predisposed to some good fortune here. 36 would be my percentile roll.
So you guys see Cirrus hold up his hand, and he's just like, looks like he's trying to cast something, but there's no words coming out of his mouth. I need Deluge, Oddity, and Calder to make dex saves.
Well, that's
Oh, damn it.
comics.
Go ahead and give me your numbers.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
9 for oddity.
9 for
This
Oddity.
could be
A 5.
could be
There we go. Yeah, so he's like focusing so hard on the giant coral snake that he's just not really getting it. And this putulent yellowish green spray comes out and envelops like a good 10-foot area. And if you failed, which I believe you said 9, Oddity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oddity, you barely failed. And Calder, you guys will take 4 points of poison damage.
I only take 3.
Or acid damage. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I'll just be like, very sorry. Thought maybe I had. Well, anyway. Sorry.
All right. Now, Deluge, Calder, Oddity, all three of you get to go in whichever order you deem necessary.
And I first, I got a plan.
What?
Go last.
by all means.
All right, I'm gonna scream out to everyone. I'm like, keep your distance. It's incredibly venomous. And then I'm going to try and cast Enthrall.
Go
So
for it.
please
And
make
what
me
the
a
heck does an
wisdom.
enthrall do?
Make me a wisdom saving throw and I'll let you know.
Wisdom saving throw with a modifier of +0. I'm at 12.
Yes, you failed. So basically, the target has disadvantage on wisdom checks made to perceive any creature other than myself until the spell ends, and until the target can no longer hear me. So basically, I'm making it focus entirely on me.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. So disadvantage on wisdom checks and perception on anybody but you, the caster.
Basically.
Alrighty.
And let me see what the fuck else I can do. I feel like I should do something else. Okay, I'm also going to something. I'm going to try. See, where is it? Yes, I'm also going to. Let's see. Can it make me an intelligence saving throw as well as I tried to cast Mind Thrust?
With modifier of -4, that is a 13.
All right. So it fails, and it's going to take 3d6 psychic damage,
Nice.
as well as it can only use the action dash or disengage on its turn.
Okay.
So it takes 13 psychic damage. As you just see this like whoosh of air go past, like you can see sort of a spear pierce into this snake's head.
Sounds
But
good.
it happens so fast you're not even sure it really happened.
The snake coils and reels a little bit and lets out a loud hiss. All right. Calder?
Alright, so Calder's gonna run up. Where's the two? It's gonna run up to here to basically flank the other side of it.
Mm-hmm. Giving you advantage.
And he is going to. He's going to swing twice. And for the first attack, that's going to be a 26.
26 hits.
That's gonna be, that'd be 10 points of slashing damage on the first attack. Second attack will be a 16.
Hits.
That would be 12 points of slashing damage. And then for my bonus action, I'm going to swing again. 16 again.
Hits.
That's going to be 10 points of slashing damage.
Noted. It's looking rough. Oddity.
From my position up on the cart, I am going to toss a firebolt at it.
Go for it.
That is 25 to hit.
I'll let that hit this time. But not next
And
time.
that is 15 points of damage.
Noted. All right. Since it can only take the actions of dash or disengage, it is going to attempt to dash this way, giving Calder and Rogelio both attacks of opportunity.
Okay. I missed.
14.
Barely hits.
10 points of slashing damage.
It dies at your feet. You slice the head of the snake clean off right at the snout, leaving just the fangs of the upper and lower mandible and the snout exposed. The eyes lifelessly begin to fade. And you are no longer in initiative.
Woo.
Well. All right then.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Deluge, you seem to know a thing or two about this.
I mean, not like usually this fucking big, but
The reason
yeah.
I ask, I just wonder, do they hunt in packs or hang out in groups? Would there be more of these up there, you think?
Should I roll nature to try and figure that out?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would know that. Let's see. Gonna be a 15.
What strikes you as odd is that these are usually found in coastal caves, or in abandoned chambers or caves themselves. and you know that their venom is not only poisonous, but it causes hallucinations.
This could be interesting. I'll be honest, it's not supposed to even be here.
Really?
No.
Where do they
More-
normally?
Coastal caves, things like that.
Huh.
I've seen them before.
They're
Not that big.
they're nasty.
Yeah, it should definitely not be in a swamp.
I mean,
Okay,
as far as I know, it shouldn't be like in a pack or anything.
Well, then we
I
best
think
be.
I'm thinking, like, what if it was summoned? That's the problem.
That's scary.
Because this isn't natural. Somehow, it got here.
Well, we heard some sounds like we were being followed along up the road here, so we'll have to be doubly vigilant going forward.
Yeah, I probably suggest we shouldn't linger too long, because if this was summoned, whoever summoned it is probably not far behind. So I'd
Agreed.
probably suggest we move on out.
Agreed.
Yeah. Your Majesty, are you all right?
You look, and she's holding her arm.
Oh no.
I don't think so.
What happened? Did it bite you?
She kind of holds out her arm, shaking a little bit, and you can see there's a single slash on her arm.
I'll go up there. I'm gonna hop up there and take a look at it real quick. Do you not feel well beside the wound?
I feel dizzy.
I'll help her to sit in the back of the cart. Why don't you just relax here? I'm gonna spend I'm a 5-point lay on hand to neutralize poison, because that's a thing Pallies can do.
Mm-hmm.
And see if that helps her feel any better.
You see some color come back to her face, but her eyes just start to look past you and she turns her head like a puppy and just starts to look.
The Queen's drug.
I don't understand. Usually that works for poison.
The venom of coral snakes can also cause severe hallucinations. Sometimes you and your friends go crazy, you go in a cave, you get bit by the snake, you heal yourself, and then you just trip balls for like days.
Never.
Are you speaking out of experience there, Delish?
Yes, absolutely.
In my younger days, I wouldn't say that I mean, I've experienced some snake venom in the past.
Would I know if cure wounds would help in a case like this, or if somehow, if she's going to need to make additional saves periodically? Because I have benefits both for saves or I have cure wounds, so I don't even know.
Roll me a medicine check.
If he's able to determine the right
And
course of action here.
Deluge, roll me a history check. Calder, roll me a perception check. Oddity, roll me a history check. And Rogelio, roll me a perception check.
I have a 16 for my medicine check.
Okay.
I have a 22 for my perception.
Okay.
You said history, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's 22.
Okay. 12. Okay. Calder? Or not Calder, Rogelio?
4. 10. 10.
10. Okay. So Seer says you are confident that you should have been able to stop the poison.
Yeah.
There's definitely something more going on. And as you're thinking about that, both Calder and Deluge, almost as two separate trains of thought colliding, you realize that it's not necessarily hallucinations that are the worry. It's that if you're not strong enough to deal with hallucinations, it gives you madness, which is a whole nother bag of tricks. Oddity, you have seen something like this before on your travels, but you weren't really sure how to correct it. And Rogelio, yours was perception, right?
Yep.
And what was your roll? 12?
A beautiful 10.
A beautiful 10? That's enough that you still hear some noises from behind you.
Am I tripping balls? I definitely check behind me.
Easy enough. Roll me a d6, please.
Oh boy. 3. Everything's fine.
Stop typing. Every time he types, another one
I know.
appears.
This wasn't the only snake. Everybody roll initiative.
God damn it.
Oh God.
25 to 20.
20.
15 to 20.
17.
18.
19.
18.
17.
Who had 17?
Deluge.
And who had 19?
I did.
And Circe, you had 18?
I did. I do. I will.
He does.
Oddity.
18.
18. Wow, look at that.
Look at us all going.
Calder, you're up.
Alright, so I am going to move. I'm going to move right to there. Wait, check something. Actually, I think I can move if I go right here. I'm trying not to get Rogelio in it, but
You know, if it happens, it happens.
So I'm gonna be right there. Unfortunately, Rogelio will be caught in the wave.
Yes.
Callers, I'm gonna run up. You see the on my right hand the tattoo of the hammer start to glow, and I slam the ground with my fist. I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave, and so basically everything in a 15-foot cube, which is going to be all 3 snakes and Rogelio. It's a
Dex save, right?
Constitution save.
Con save, okay.
Yep.
All right, well, my lowest dice of the 3 that I rolled was a 14 with modifier. Makes it a 16.
You said, yeah, so they'll all make it, so they'll take half.
I also got a 16.
So everybody's going to take 5 points of thunder damage.
Is that already halved?
Yeah, it's already half. I had 10, so. And that would be my action. Bonus action. Got nothing, so that's it.
All right, Rogelio.
Rogelio, a little shocked by the thunder wave. Gonna move up and engage with this horrific snake monster.
Okay.
And swing at it for a 14.
14 hits.
All right. 6. Sneak attack into it. Ooh. That's 19 damage on the first swing.
Nice.
Wow. With my second strike. Ooh, that's only a 12.
Miss. You feel the rapier just kind of glance off the scales.
That's me.
All right. Deluge. No, sorry. Oddity and wow, I messed this all up. Oddity and Cirrus.
Yep. Go ahead, Oddity. Excuse me.
I'm going to do the same thing as before. I am going to toss a firebolt at the one that's Rogelio's next to.
Okay.
That is a 14.
14 hits.
That's 13 points.
Nice.
Fire damage.
All right. Anything else?
Guess not.
All righty.
Okay. Is that it, Oddity? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. I will stand. I'm gonna stay in the cart, remain with the queen lady,
Okay.
and I'm gonna stand in the cart and chant something in Draconic, and make a gesture. And I'm holding a piece of kind of pink rock in my hand, and all of a sudden, this silver pale light shines down on this guy right here. It's about a 40-foot cylinder, and it needs to make a con save DC 13 or take
It's a 12.
2d10 radiant damage,
All right. Roll your damage.
and that is 7. And I'm going to just stay with the queen.
All right. You
Now,
can
if she has to be making any saves, like if she has a save every turn, she gets a +2 to that save because of my proximity to her.
Good to
And
know.
anybody else within 10 feet also has that from my new cool pally feature.
Good to know. Deluge.
Okay. Snake.
Which snake?
Hmm?
What was your question?
I was just like, I can't open roll 20, so they're
Oh, could you watch it on stream?
my computer's too damn.
Okay. There are 3 coral snakes, giant coral snakes to your east. You are currently, I'll put you right next to the cart. You are 30 feet away from the closest one. Then south of that one, you are 35 from the next one, and 35 from the one that's south of that one as well. You have Rogelio, 25 feet to your southeast,
Right.
and stuff like that. Does that kind of help you out a little bit?
Yep. Perfect. I'm gonna focus on the one that's furthest from me, and I'm gonna need it to make me a wisdom saving.
Wisdom save.
Yep. And I'm gonna expend a dissonant whisper so that you hopefully find.
Okay. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Come back here, mouse. You guys are down to 9 dissonant whispers. With a dissonant whisper, a wisdom, you said?
Yes.
It is a 4.
Perfect. So basically, it is now incapacitated,
Okay.
and at the end of its turn, it takes 1d12 psychic damage.
Good to know.
And then for, let's see. What else can I? And then I'm going to look at Rogelio and be like, "You can do this, old man," and give him bardic inspiration.
Nice.
Thanks.
And that's my turn.
I'm inspired.
All right. Now it is the snake's turn. So the one that's incapacitated, go ahead and roll your damage because that's the end of that one's turn.
Oh, 12.
Good to know.
And hold on, I just want to double check. Is there something else there?
That was weirdly placed, but it's there.
Where else is the thing? Let's see. And it can then make another wisdom saving throw to see if it can get out of it.
It's a, with modifier, it's a 17.
Damn it, it gets out.
All right. So it's no longer that. This one is going to approach Calder and go for a bite. The one engaged with Rogelio is going to bite him. Calder, will do you first.
All right.
That'd be a 22.
Even if I shield it, 22 would still tie. I'm not gonna shield. That'll hit.
All right. So you take 8 piercing damage,
7,000 points.
and I need a con save, please.
All right. Con is +5. Ooh, that's gonna be a 10.
You are now stunned. And roll me a d6.
A 4.
For the next 4 rounds, you believe that your party members are owlbears trying to kill you.
This should be fun.
Was I able to? Did I notice him get bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rogelio, the attack against you
All right.
is a whopping 8. So it misses with its bite.
Yes. Old man dodge.
Calder, you're up. The snakes are still a threat to you, but you also sense that there are now owlbears around you.
Not a good day for Calder.
And I think because I'm stunned, I can't move, but I can still attack, right?
For stunned, you are incapacitated. You cannot move or speak. You automatically fail strength and dex throws, and attack rolls against you now have advantage until the end of your next turn.
Yeah, so I can't do.
You basically, it's a lost turn. It's a lost turn for you.
Yeah, so. What I'll do is I'll spend my bonus action to take my second win because I see all these owlbears around me and these snakes, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna need
I'll allow it. Thematically, it makes sense. Go for it.
so. Alright, so that is it. Where is that? Second one.
Rogelio.
It's gonna be 1d10 plus this. 9.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Alright. I shall continue to attack this snake.
Go for it.
Is Deluge's Bardic Inspiration still a d6?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Until next level, right? Then it goes up to D8.
Yeah.
I
If I
think-
was level 5, then it would be something like that.
Well, I'm going to save that for a saving throw. That's a 17.
That's a hit.
So 8 plus 3, 11. And I'm going to pump my sneak attack into him as well. 21 points of damage.
Nice.
Jeez.
Sneak attack is
Yeah.
brutal.
Killing him.
With
Rogue
my
man.
offhand, that is it's a 15, which I believe that hits,
That's hits. Yep.
for a grand total of 2 damage.
Nice. Good follow up. Good follow up. I appreciate that.
Rogelio's follow-up strikes are really they're more like insults.
It's a good jab with the rapier or a good slice across the chest, and then you follow up with like you would be smacking with like an iron gauntlet, but instead it's a handkerchief.
Yes.
Yeah. Got it. Oddity and Circes.
Go ahead, Oddity. We'll keep it consistent.
All right, I am going to hit it with a chaos bolt.
Which one? The same one you've been attacking?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
That is a 15 to hit.
Good screenshot on that, by the way. I hope that helps.
That hits, right?
Oh yeah, 15 hits. Sorry. I just saw that screenshot from 8 minutes ago because I am on top of it.
So that is... It's 12 points of fire damage.
Nice. It smells like roasted chicken around you, Rogelio.
Oh.
Is Rogelio's snake still up?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And did the
Before
snakes-
you get to go,
Okay.
there is a loud croaking heard
Oh no!
Cool.
from
I have a-
Deluge's pocket.
I have a quick
Shit.
question for you before you get into that.
Yeah.
Are the snakes all acting in the same round?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Just keeping track of rounds of concentration.
Yes. Good call. The snakes go last for the round, if that helps. The snakes go last and Calder goes first.
Oh no.
Hold on. I gotta find
Number.
it. It's an odd number. Roll a d20.
Is it always an odd number? What is going on with my computer here? Oh dear, everything's going foobard, man.
I can tell you. Just tell me the number.
Okay, it's a 14.
A 14. Circes, you feel a heavy weight enter your pocket. You now possess the jeweled frog of chaos at this time. No other effects come into play. Deluge, somewhere mark it down that you've had the frog, because I forgot to mention you can only have the frog twice.
Oh, good.
And I think, Rogelio, you had it as well, right?
I had it first.
Yep. You can only have it
Okay.
twice, so it exhausts itself once it goes to everybody. Twice.
So I have the frog. All right.
You have the frog. The count has restarted. It is now your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead, and I still have one more instance of moonbeam. You know, I have like a D&D confession to make. I've been counting rounds for whatever lasts for periods of rounds, as in my rounds. Like that was the first round. This is the second round. That's not correct. It's rounds that actually transpire all rounds. So I just thought I'd confess that I've been doing that wrong for
It's
years.
fine.
So I'm actually in round 7 of my moonbeam. So that gives me one more crack at it. So I'm going to hold that moonbeam right on top of this.
Oh no, a
snack
round.
right
You're
here.
right. A round is a round. A turn is a turn. Turns fall within rounds. Rounds are rounds of initiative.
Oh,
This is-
so I have been doing it right.
Yeah, this is the second
So
round.
This is only the second round.
Yes.
Okay. Woo! I got confused like twice. Okay. So 1 round, 2 round. All right. So at any rate, I'm going to go ahead, and he's got to make a D13 con.
Okay. It's a 13 on a
Yeah.
die with the mod for Constitution. It passes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to take half a 12, which in most cases is 6.
In most
And that
cases.
is radiant.
All right. It's looking super rough, Rogelio. It smells like fried chicken now. Not just cooked chicken, fried chicken right around.
And I want to look down at the queen just to, glance down and see
Good
what's going on.
idea. Give me a perception check.
Yeah. Because that's kind of the other thing I'm doing. That's not awesome. It's a 7.
It's enough. You're close. She's holding a silver dagger and shaking visibly. Moving on.
Is there a chance at a bonus action when I see that?
Maybe.
I would at least like to make a move to slap it out of her hand.
Give me a dex.
Since I'm taking no movement.
Give me a dex against her strength, which she has a bonus
Wink,
on
wink.
because of your modifier.
Right. That is a 17 on the die. My dex.
I rolled a
is
16 on the
is a
die.
+2, so that gives me an 18.
Her dex.
19.
Her dex is a +5.
Holy shit.
With
it is.
your
Was it my
+2.
strength or my dex?
It's your dex versus her strength. And with her +5, she is able to maintain it, and now she is
Okay.
glaring at you.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and her eyes are
Okay.
getting wide.
Okay.
In fact, I'll even give you
Yes.
this. In her eyes, you can see your own reflection.
Do I sense malice and everything?
You do not see a magnificent bronze dragonborn reflecting off of her jeweled green eyes.
Okay.
You see a large bone-encrusted snake of death.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Bone encrusted snake of death. Just writing that down.
Spirit Naga. Bone Naga, sorry. Bone Naga.
I turned into a bone naga?
In her eyes.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
All right, Deluge. You're up.
This sucks. Okay, so one snake is 30 feet away from me. The
Mhm.
other 2 are slightly farther out.
About 35. Just at an angle from you. But yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna say, oh, well, fuck this. Pull out my rapier. All of a sudden, my scale glove-covered hand is engulfed in black flame. I touch my rapier. That's then engulfed in black flame, and I rush up and attack the closest snake.
Do me a solid. Roll me a percentile die.
Yes, sir. That would be a 16.
A 16 on the percentile die? All right, so you
Yep.
go to cast this white flame, or this black flame, but instead it's white. But you don't have time to think about it, right? You just don't, and you touch your blade to it. So your blade now has a white flame on it. Go ahead and roll your attack, or do what you want to do.
I don't know if that's gonna affect what happened to the blade at all.
You
But
would not have any idea.
21 to hit.
Which one you moved to the closest one?
Yes.
All right, I'll move you. We'll put you right next to Rogelio. That's probably where you would have ended up, give or take.
Yep.
21 definitely hits. So roll your
So-
blade damage first.
Well, the thing that the black flame would normally do is it would give me an extra 1d6 damage.
It's still going to give you an extra 1d6 damage, but we'll roll your
Okay.
blade first.
Okay. That is a 7 for damage.
Noted. And as you hit, you see this blue and white plume, almost as though you took like a knife and you grated it against an ice block. Roll your d6, and that plume bounces off the snakeskin and hits Rogelio for
Oh dear. For damage.
4 damage. Alrighty. This one here is going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Right up here. This one is going to still attack Calder. And we'll deal with the other one first. So let's deal with Calder. It's going to go for another bite. That is a 16, 17, 18.
Don't forget
20,
you have
20.
advantage on me.
Oh, yeah,
Because I'm
true. All right, my first roll was better. So that's 21.
Would
Are you still
this would
incapacitated?
be up to you?
You
Yeah,
were
I'm
only
still-
you
you
were
said-
only incapacitated till the end of your round. So I no longer have advantage. My first roll was fine. You are no longer incapacitated because it's just for that first round.
Okay. So I guess then I'll cast shield,
Okay,
and that will
miss.
miss. Yep.
Okay. Circe,
Why is this snake near me?
it moved
Why?
to attack you.
Again, question asked and answered.
With the roll that I am looking at, that is a 16 to attack you
Okay.
with a bite.
That does not trait my armor class of 18.
All right, so the snake comes in for a bite and she misses and hits the cart instead. Not the queen,
Yes.
but the cart.
Yeah. So am I in melee?
You are.
Okay. So much going. Very good.
And Rogelio, the snake is going to attack you again because it was still engaged with you. That would be a 17. Is that a hit, Rogelio? Chancellor.
We lost him.
He's getting into character.
He's getting
Yes,
into
I am.
character. Does a 17 hit?
Centering himself. Yes.
Does a 17 hit?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So you take 8 points of piercing damage,
Okay.
and I need a con.
Uncanny dodge.
Okay. And I need a con save.
All right. I'm
I think-
going to.
I think rogues are immune to snake bites. Actually.
I think you
That's
might be
true.
right. I think it might be buried somewhere in the text.
Yeah,
I'm going
I'll-
to use
I'll find it.
the bardic inspiration with this.
Okay.
Say 14 with the bardic inspiration.
You succeed. You feel as though some strange concoction is being injected into your veins with the bite, and you fight it off with the stalwartness that only you would be able to obtain.
So
with
skinny
inspiration.
old veins.
With a little bit of inspiration, you call back to Deluge saying, "You can do this. You've got this." And you're like,
Seems
"You know
so
what?
long
She's
ago."
right." All right. Calder.
All right, so basically, I shake off so I'm no longer stunned or incapacitated. Then,
Correct. But you still see a bunch of owlbears and snakes.
yeah, and I'll get to those owlbears in a minute. I'm going to deal with this big snake that's in front of me. I am going to. He's not within 5. I'm just going to start swinging away at it. First attack. That is going to be a 26.
That's a hit.
It's going to be 6 points of slashing damage. Second attack. It's going to be a 13.
That barely hits.
Nice. That's going to be 7 points of slashing damage. And then as my bonus action, I'm going to swing again, and that dice is cocked. Oh, natural 20 on the bonus action.
That hits.
So that's double the dice. So 4, 8, 8, and 5. So that's 13 points of slashing damage on that last attack.
Nice. Very nice. Rogelio,
Yes, sir.
you're up.
All right. And, well, snakes moved. um, the snake in front of me is still alive.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
All right. I'm gonna stab him again. Or not, because I'll roll a 2.
That's a miss.
I'll swing at him with my offhand. That's a 19.
That's a hit.
And I will put a 1, but then I will put sneak attack into it.
Okay. One turns into 750.
Hear all those dice dropping through the top.
A 1 turns into 11 total.
Hashtag rogue life.
So you miss with the rapier. You come back with your. Is it a dagger or is it another rapier?
2 rapiers.
You come back with your other rapier, your letter opener rapier, as you like to call it, and you letter open that snake right up the front, and you see its innards start to spill out as it falls to the ground at your feet. It is dead.
Dead snake.
Dead
All
snake.
I think I'm just gonna hold here, waiting to see what happens with the other snakes.
Sounds good. That's right. That's right. That's where we're at. All right. Oddity and Circes.
Go ahead, Oddity.
Alright, so I'm going to go for the one closest. And I'm going to hit it with a firebolt.
And is that a save on my end, right? Or is it a DC? That's a DC, right? Or it's a roll from you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 19 to hit.
19 hits.
That is 15 points of fire damage.
Oof. All right. Anything else?
That's it for me.
All right, Circes.
Okay. So my moonbeam is currently centered on this deceased snake.
Yes.
So I'm going to move it. Are these 5-foot squares?
Yes.
I'm going to move it 10 feet to center on this guy. It's got a 60 feet move, and that costs me an action.
Okay.
So I'm just going to move it over to Calder's neck, and it's going to have to make a DC 13 dex save, or take some damage. Oh,
It
this
succeeds.
damage die. Half of 5. God dang, 2d10, just vomit.
Half of 5. I'll make it take 3.
Woo. My damage rolls have been garbage. As a bonus action, since I got hostility all around me, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna Misty Step to this square right here.
Okay.
So I'm there, and then all of a sudden I'm here, and that does not provoke an opportunity attack, correct?
Correct.
Just this little silvery mist, and then I'm over here, and I'm within 10 feet of this dude, and that dude should saving throws need to be made because that's a good thing.
So Calder, as you're kind of observing the battlefield, you see this owlbear just appear behind you.
Yeah.
What?
And I think I should get inspiration for putting myself in harm's way, knowing I should get.
But you avoided harm by Misty Step, but I'll give it to you anyway. Take it.
I'm just teasing. Okay.
Deluge, you're up.
Okay. Seeing my friend, I'm like, I'm gonna go help Calder. This is a smart idea.
Yeah, this is great.
So I rush on over and I slice at my rapier.
Okay,
I try to anyway.
go for it.
So 17 to hit.
17 hits.
And the blade's still white.
How long does that last until you remove it?
Let me because I've never used it before. It lasts for 1 minute.
So yes.
So 5 regular damage, and then 4 whatever the hell is going on with my blade.
Roll me percentile die.
93.
93. That additional 4 goes into the snake.
Okay.
All right.
I just look at Calder and I'm like, are you okay?
Calder, you hear an owlbear speak in common with a distorted voice that almost sounds like somebody you know, but it's got that beak and it's like, are you okay?
So, what the fuck is going on in this swamp here? There's
You
talking
notice that
owlbears.
Calder's eyes are
Nobody is
wide.
around.
Like they're...
Oh shit.
There's all my friends, my party's gone, and there's snakes and talking owlbears. It's like, what the fuck?
All right.
Calder's tripping, yo.
With that, it is the snake's turn. This one is still primarily focused on Calder, so it's going to attack you, Calder. No, it's not, because that's only a 7.
Nice.
Yep. Miss.
Oddity, you notice that this one looks down inside the cart and opens its mouth to take a bite.
Stab it, queen.
You see its head go in, you hear a shriek, and its head withdraw.
Oh.
Now, as we get to Calder's turn, before you go, Calder, a loud croaking is heard from below the waistband of Circes. Circes,
Out of
please
my
roll a d6.
D6?
Yeah.
I'd be honored. That's a 1.
Roll a d20.
Okay. That's a
All right.
5.
A 5, you say.
Yeah.
Roll a d10.
Okay. That is a 1.
Okay, so starting at the bottom of the order, it says, based on party initiative order, roll 1d10 and count up. That party member is stunned for 1 round. So, Deluge, you are now stunned for 1 round.
Fuck.
I love the jeweled frog of chaos. And the counter resets. Calder, you are up.
Alright, so...
You still have 2 rounds of madness left.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ignore the talking owlbear that's right next to me for the time being. I'm just gonna keep swinging in on this snake. So first attack would be a 14.
14 hits.
And that's gonna be 10 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Second second attack is going to be a 15.
Hits.
That's only going to be 6 points of slashing damage.
All right.
And then for my bonus action, I'm going to attack again. That is going to be a 10. I'm sorry, a 12.
Misses.
So that is my turn.
All right. Rogelio.
All right. So, can I tell how bad the snake is looking?
It's looking rough.
All right.
I would say it's about a 37 out of a 90.
All right. Well, I will 37 out of a 90 over to it.
All right, so Calder, another Albar is coming up to you.
Here to help, Calder.
Go ahead and roll your attacks, Rogelio.
All right. My main hand. That is a. Why do I keep forgetting my modifier? It's a 14.
14 hits.
All right. 5 plus sneak attack. These sneak
So
attack
many
dice are
fucking
hot as
dice.
hell.
God.
So that is 22 on the first strike.
Okay.
And on offhand, that's a 21.
That's a hit.
And let's see. Come on.
2.
2.
It is super, super, super rough. Oddity and Circes.
Go ahead, Oddity.
I'm going to go run to the queen.
All
Let's see what
right.
kind of shape she's in.
You see that she's got that slash on her arm still. She's holding a silver dagger, and her eyes are huge, and she looks at you and she shrieks. In fact, hold on a second. I need you to make a con save against the shriek.
8.
8. You are a little afraid of her for the rest of your turn.
Okay.
Is that the same as frightened?
Yes,
Damn.
Can I still take my action?
you can. If it is, yeah, you still can. But I don't
You
think
just
you're
can't
going to
move
attack
towards
her. I don't think you can't move towards her. You're right next to her. Please say you're right there. And if you do anything against her, it's at disadvantage.
I'm going to.
Yep. Actually, it's disadvantage on ability checks and attack roll. The source of fear is in sight.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to be necessarily just directed at the source of fear.
Alright, I am going to cast.
And I will say all of you heard that shriek, by the way. But not all of you are affected by it, but all of you heard another scream come from inside of the cart.
Okay.
I am going to cast. Witch Bolt at 3rd level.
Oof. Okay, then.
It's 14 to hit.
14 hits.
That's going to leave a mark.
That's going to sting a lot.
I'm missing one of my d12s. 12, 4, and 4.
That's 20. Nice.
20. That does a fair amount. It's looking rather bloody. If snakes could look bloody, I'm sure they can. Yeah, they can. Go ahead.
No, that's it for me.
All right, Circe.
Okay. This is round 4 for Moonbeam, and it's already where I'd like it to be. So I'm going to leave it right on this here dude. And he's got to make a DC 13 dex save.
Let's say 13 on the dot.
Okay, so half a 7 is 3. That's
Noted.
radiant. And then I'm going to take 5 feet of movement to there, and I've got a 10-foot reach weapon with a halberd.
Yes.
So I'm going to take a swipe at that guy. Stepping out of there would not make a provoke an attack of opportunity, correct?
No, it will not.
Because I'm not within 5 feet. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take my attack action, which is 2 swipes with a halberd.
All right.
And I'm guessing a 2 plus stuff isn't going to be probably good enough for...
Not unless it's a 2
hit.
plus at least 12.
Hang on, I got to find my cursor. No. And then a 13.
Miss.
Ah!
No, I'm sorry. That
Unbelievable
barely hits. That barely hits.
Barely? All right. That's some unbelievable poopy rolling here. Let me throw a D10 plus 3.
You need that Rogelio. You need that Rogelio sneak attack.
Yeah.
How many? 11?
My rolls have been low. How about an 11 slashing damage? The one that Oddity just blasted.
Nice.
And then I'm gonna move 5 feet back to be actually 10 feet, so I can be. Oh, that puts me in melee. Just right here is fine. Within 5 feet of Deluge and Calder.
All right.
Or within 10 feet. Excuse me. Jeez.
All right, and Deluge, you are incapacitated for a round.
Yeah. I can't talk at all.
No, you barely. If it is like.
Alright. I'm just gonna think at Calder really hard. Stop being high and kill the giant venomous reptile.
So
Speaking of
Hopefully
the
he'll feel
giant.
the vibe.
Speaking of the giant venomous reptiles, Calder is attacking you again.
okay.
That is a 26.
That will hit.
All right, you take 8 points of piercing damage. And give me a con save, please.
Plus 2 to your save.
Hi.
Oh, that's a natural 20, so that'd be a 27.
Okay, so you succeed and you do not have any further effects of madness. You still have 1 round left of madness, though, from the previous effect.
All right.
So again, you feel it bites you. You feel like it's trying to pass something in your system. You just kind of like push it out. You bear through it. Oddity. The snake's going to turn its head at you and try to bite you. That is a 14.
Hits.
All right, you take 8 points of piercing damage and give me a con save, please.
Natural 20.
All right, you feel as though you're being injected with something and you just kind of, you're like, fuck you, no.
That's poison damage too, isn't it?
It is not poison damage. It's against the effect.
Okay.
So that does that. Calder, your last round, while thinking you have owlbears around you, you have one that is now behind you by about 5 feet, 2 that are flanking you, a snake in front of you. You've heard shrieking.
All right, so I'm going to move here, trying to get away, put the snake between me and what I think are the owlbears.
Okay.
So basically,
Because
giving
you think
myself-
they're owlbears, you do not have advantage.
All right, so I'm just going to start swinging away again on the snake.
Mhm.
So first attack, that's going to be a 12.
Miss.
Second attack is going to be an 18.
Hit.
That's going to be 11 points of slashing damage.
It falls to your feet, and in front of you, you see 2 owlbears 10 feet away from you.
Then,
And you only use 10 feet of your movement, so you have 20 feet left.
Yeah. So I guess.
I can move this out of your way if it makes it more apparent.
Yeah. I guess I would come up and attack the owlbears.
Mm-hmm. You can
That
flip a
in front of
coin
me?
and figure out which one you would attack if you want.
Alright, so I'm gonna roll a d20. 11 and higher is gonna be Rogelio. Anything below that's gonna be Deluge. Unfortunately, that's a 16, so that's gonna be Rogelio. So my bonus action would be to attack the owlbear there, and that's gonna be a 19.
Poor Rogelio.
And that's gonna be 7 points of slashing damage.
We all see this.
You all see Calder leap over the giant coral
Calder,
snake
what the hell are you doing?
and just pummel on Rogelio with his back.
Traitorous bastard.
He's high. I'm sorry. Drugs.
And
Finally
as
see
your
his
battle
true
axe
colours.
sinks into the flesh of Rogelio, you feel this coldness and you start to perspire as your body lets go of the madness, and you see your axe embedded in the flesh of Rogelio, and that's the end of your turn.
I'm old.
Rogelio, with an axe inside of you,
I'm old is your last word.
Well, I guess I'm gonna find out. Actually,
It just really ticked me.
I'm gonna try to just run away from Calder
okay.
and go mess with this snake.
All right. He does not take an attack of opportunity on you. In fact, he's standing there. His eyes are still wide, and now his jaw's like, oh, fuck.
I'm confused by a man just yelling, "I'm old!"
Serious age discrimination.
Senior citizen.
It's Tuesday. I get a free coffee.
That is a 14.
14 hits.
All right.
Shannon's broken.
Shannon.exe is broken.
I'm okay. I'm okay. We're good.
She's not okay.
Sorry, it's just old people violence. It's funny.
Alright, so hold on. I'm trying to do math here, and it's hard.
I got the giggle.
12. 26 points of damage with a sneak attack.
Ooh, it's super rough.
Wow.
And offhand, that's a 17
17 hits. Come on,
for
points.
2 damage.
2 damage. Jesus.
Insult to injury.
You slapped him with your AARP card.
Your golden Buckeye card.
All right. Oddity and Circe, you're up.
Go ahead, my lady.
I am going to. Wait. Yeah, which one's concentration? So. Read that again, because I don't remember shit.
Got CRS syndrome.
Alright, yeah.
Can't remember shit.
Rogelio can relate.
I thought that was Alzheimer's.
That is 18 points of lightning damage. for that.
You
Wow.
fry that snake right in front of you.
Was that a spell? What was that?
Witch bolt.
You see Circe's eyebrows go up like, oh yeah, lightning.
And at the end of your turn, as Queen Oakentunt draws her dagger, she tries to stab you.
What on earth is going on here?
I told you, she's tripping
It's
balls.
only a 7, so I'm pretty sure that doesn't hit. However, as she recoils from trying to stab you, you see that her eyes kind of like flutter a little bit, and she's like, what the fuck? And as she says that, because it just lines up perfectly, you hear croaking coming from the
Again?
waistband. Yeah, the waistband of your paladin friend.
Am I supposed to answer that?
It's an annoying cell phone.
Hello. May I help
Roll
you?
your d6.
Oh, here we go with the D6. I get to do things. That's a 2.
Nothing happens. You are now out of initiative, from what you can tell. Again.
Okay, I'm gonna keep my moonbeam happening.
Okay.
It's got 4 rounds on it currently, just because we had snacks come out of nowhere in case more snacks come.
Okay.
And I'm gonna kind of go to Rogelio and stand between him and Calder. Are you all right, my friend?
I've been better.
Is my axe still in?
No, he
Rahalia?
was able to dislodge it and walk away.
Deluge is just giggling like a mad woman, just like, he's old and you axed him. You almost killed him. She's just like bent over, like someone that just ran, just laughing.
Here's a strange thing. You look down at this axe wound, and you've been stabbed, you've been shot with an arrow, you've been thrown from a boat. You know what's going on in this world, and it's definitely a wound. And you kind of like, you like, it's all right. It's not too deep, right? And your fingers run across the opening of the wound, and it doesn't feel like you. It's weird. It's really fucking weird. And so like you kind of like rub a little bit deeper, and just you're like, your back's turning, like, it's okay guys, I got this. And you're like, you're pushing and you look, and these red scales appear on either side of the wound, and the wound closes. And you've got this mark coming from your shoulder down right above your breastplate. That's red dragon scale.
Do I notice this standing right there talking to him?
You're kind of like looking at both. I'm going to say no for right now.
Okay, that's fine. Calder, what on earth was happening there?
Eddie, where'd you guys go? All I saw were snakes and owlbears. And I'm fighting the snakes, and I see talking owlbears come up to me, and then I kill the snake, and I go to attack an owlbear, and it turns into be Rogelia. So
Next time
what
owlbears
the
talk
fuck
to you,
happened?
just don't attack them, okay?
You were high as shit.
I'm gonna go.
If I see a talking owlbear, I'm going to attack it because owlbears don't talk.
I'm gonna go check on the princess.
And as you're
queen.
walking over there, Oddity, the queen, kind of holds out her hands. She goes, "I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on."
Well, Deluge. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
You were bit by something, and you were hallucinating. I don't know what you were saying, but
I just saw those bone snake creatures all around us, and I saw it all happening again where they kidnapped me, and I just the only thing I have is this dagger, and I'm so sorry.
it's okay. I don't. You didn't get.
And she throws up right away, and Calder, at this point, you feel your stomach is starting to tighten up. You got that saliva running down. You're like swallowing, like, nope. It's not gonna happen. But you can't help it. Give me a con save, please.
That is going to be a 19.
19. You barely pass, losing a couple HP. But you throw up right where you're standing. You lean up against the stump of a tree, and you're like, whoa! And so you got 2 people throwing up right now.
I'm gonna go over to the queen and just pat her on the back and be like, it's okay, at least you didn't stab an old man.
she stops long enough to wipe her mouth and go, "What the fuck?" Maybe we should get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I agree. Let's turn and head for home.
All right. She holds up and she goes, "We're just
Wipe his
over
mouth.
that hill."
You guys should really probably consider a new place to live. I don't know. Seems like a pretty dangerous place with all these giant
She kind of
drug-laced.
looks at
snakes.
you, kind of very slyly, and says, "Well, I figured with 5 adventurers around us, we would be okay."
That's a poor decision. Based
I
on who
mean-
you're with.
Everyone's alive. Rogelio's only a little stabbed.
Yes, is there anybody in your camp that could perhaps heal these folks once we get, and of course yourself, once we get back to your village?
I sure as hell hope so.
Rogelio keeps like looking at his shoulder.
Mm-hmm. It's up to you if they see it or not.
I don't think he's gonna say anything yet.
Oh God, are we all just gonna keep this a secret from
I hope
each
so.
other?
I hope so, because it's going to get really gnarly really quick. All right, so by this point in time, you guys are able to get back onto the cart, get everybody settled, get your walkers walking, get your riders riding.
I got it right here.
Give me an animal handling check as you're going through some slightly difficult terrain. You can see a small rise in the ground about 40 feet, and there's a mound on top.
17.
17, you're able to fairly well move the cart through some kind of maybe a hunting path or something along those lines, and you guys are able to come up on a very small, narrow entrance of a cave, and there's a single torch with a very heavy stone door, about 10 feet in. How big are these squares?
5-foot squares?
Are they 5 foot? Yeah, so about 10 feet in, and we'll go ahead and do this. And Oakentent she gets off the cart, she walks over, she licks her hand and she places it on a stone, and you hear the grinding of the stone as the door lowers.
That's awesome. Can you teach us how to do that?
She goes, "Maybe someday." She begins to walk through. She goes, "Now, stay with me. We have a lot of people here, but they are friends. If they see us together, maybe they will think that. Put your weapons away.
They will.
Please."
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so there's a long corridor. It's fairly dark. In fact, it's almost pitch black. So you guys are staying kind of close. There's enough light coming through that you can see the hallway in front of you. Let me move you guys all in. And Queen Oakentent just kind of continues to walk south. She goes, "Just stay with me." And she gets around this corner, and you guys hear a lot of commotion coming from your right. You guys choose to stay with her?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Those of you that can see well in the dark, when you look off to the right, you see a large room. There's about 5 lizard folk with stone or wood weapons, and they kind of glance over. They see the queen. They immediately bow their heads, and a couple of them look up and they see you, and they raise their heads and they kind of narrow their eyes at you. And she just holds up a hand and she just continues walking.
Who's next to me? Or what?
That's me.
Circe
Yes.
as a dragon type like person. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have this weird rash
He kind of looks around. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And I show him the wound on my shoulder, the red dragon scales.
Would I recognize those as draconic scales?
Hands down, it looks like your skin, but red.
Yeah.
Is this some kind of like? You're not. Unless I'm not trying to accuse you of anything, but you're the only dragon that I've had any contact with, and I know we haven't been social distancing.
I'll show him my hand. I seem to be suffering for something similar.
Oh, that's.
But it's black scale.
Interesting.
Have you had any strange dreams that maybe felt like perhaps Tiamat has contacted
have I had
you?
any strange dreams? No, I haven't.
Oh, good, because that would be awful. Okay.
Have you been having strange dreams?
I have, yes. I think something's happened from our contact with her.
Well, it seems to be spreading to me somehow. I wasn't there when that
You
happened.
were not with us, were you?
No.
Well,
So this is quite curious.
yes, indeed. I've noticed with mine, it's enabled me to, like, throw acid. You know, like a black dragon would breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't really controlled it well. I look over at Oddity, but I'm working on that. But it's strange.
Well, I guess I'll just have to.
Perhaps we could talk to the others about it when we get away from this.
Yeah, I agree.
This place here.
You pass by a few corridors and doors while this conversation is happening. You come up on a long hallway. There's a door to your immediate north. And she points at another stone door just to your east in the direction you're heading. She goes, through there are the royal chambers. Now, many have presumed that I'm not here. And I think it would be best if I go in first.
Very well.
Very well. I'm gonna strap my halberd to my back so that it doesn't appear to be in hand.
So she raises a hand and she knocks on the stone door, and it sounds very hollow on the other side, and there's a lot of movement. The door slides open, and it's total darkness on the other side. She walks in, and you can hear the cackle, like almost like a hiss, like a it's really weird. I would say probably Deluge is the only one that recognizes that as a sound of celebration, but it's up to you what you do with that knowledge.
Aw, they're happy.
And you hear a voice in common to say, "My queen, you have returned." She replies, "Yes, with great help." And she says, "Friends, please come in. We must talk."
Well, I'm just gonna strut on in.
I'll wait and be last.
You enter the room, and you find Queen Oakentent up front. You have quite a few lizard folk, and this large, massive iguana-looking motherfucker just kind of sitting there. There's a chain lead that runs from him to one of the pillars, and he's just looking at you, and he can sense he is sizing up a potential meal. She says, "Without these adventurers, I would not be returned to you. They have won my favor. And I've learned from their conversation that they come from Saltmarsh. Perhaps it is time we tell someone else what we know." And her advisor, who just all of a sudden changes shape and looks weird because I just try to figure out his name without looking at my notes. Irthos, who's now upside down, because my computer hates me right now. Looks at her and nods, goes, "My queen, you do as you choose." And with that, we will end for this week.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, always. So, Rogelio is on the verge of exhaustion. He's been stabbed by his own party member. Yep, that's exactly what you guys see. I love that. Is there anything you guys would like to get out there into the ether of the internet, nets and interwebs before we end tonight's stream?
I'm not actually that old.
Don't do drugs
Don't do drugs. All right.
That's right.
unless you are in a safe environment with someone who can take care of you.
Yeah, if you're gonna be tripping, get a babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Read about that on the internet. Wash your hands. Social distancing.
Yep. Social distancing. Wash your goddamn hands, please,
And
people.
If you drink OJ, it makes it better.
And banned from Twitch.
Yep. There we go. And I just got my notification. My stream's offline. But no.
It's staying, healthy from viruses.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But no, we appreciate you all being here. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the chats. The fun commentary on the Owlbears as though a Far Side comic was fantastic. But we cannot wait to see you next time. We'll pick up right where we left off in our adventures. We'll learn about something sinister that's going on in Saltmarsh. Until then,
No.
Sinister secret.
sinister secret of Saltmarsh. Until then, take it easy. Wash your hands. We'll see you next time. And hang tight for the raid. We're going to send you off to somebody awesome. Have a good night, everyone.